Hey, what's up everyone? I hope everyone is doing fine. Doing a little video here concerning E3 2015. I just want to do like a little comparison concerning the three main consoles we have right now. So Sony, Microsoft, and of course Nintendo were attending. Though Nintendo gave us a digital event, still they had some content and everything like this. EA was there, Bethesda did their own show, Ubisoft. So everyone was really included. I think we had the lengthy and very good E3, but I just want to compare both the three main events, of course Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, and I want to point out exactly where they got some points, where they lost maybe some of what they could actually have achieved, and of course, just for those who didn't saw the show, it's gonna basically give you a good resume. So let's start off with both Microsoft and Sony. I have to say that both started very well. Microsoft actually showed us Halo 5, good gameplay system, you know, graphically it was very good, everything is there for the fans. Of course, we have what we can expect for an Halo game, so we didn't find out much of the new gameplay elements, but much more of a, you know, better system, more actually optimized one with a new kind of backstory. So I think everyone in the Halo fan series will be very pleased. Sony, on the other hand, delivered us a massive blow with The Last Guardian. I think this game actually blew everyone's mind because basically we thought it was dead since 2007, but now we have some gameplay. It looks amazing, very well made indeed as a game. I think everyone was really surprised. They kicked off with this massive blow for everyone. And aside that, you know, Microsoft continue on with a lot of titles. You know, they showed us Gears of War Remastered, Gears of War 4, Forza 6, they had Tomb Raider Rise, which I think looks absolutely astonishing. They had the Rare Pack, which is actually a good acquisition. Rare has a lot of old games title that are still today regarded as one of the best games on the market. I didn't see GoldenEye for some reason, but you know, we had our Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. But I know that people will just love this, and really it's a love story to these old games, and I think everyone has a share to say like this pack will be worth it. We saw also Fable Legends. Now I'm not exactly sure, we didn't see any gameplay, so I'm not exactly sure if it's a MOBA or is it going to be like a PvP elements. I'm not exactly sure. Sure, it will include some multiplayer, but it was a bit scarce on the details. Other than that, they presented, you know, Dark Souls 3, Tacoma, Iron, Recore. They also presented the new Elite controller, with basically it's like the scrubs with the under shortcuts for it's easier to play on, you know, competitive games such as Call of Duty, so you don't have to move your thumbs from one point to the other. It was a bit pricey. If I remember, it was $150 for a controller. That's almost, you know, twice the price. I mean, I think even 3 times the price if you're talking about the US market. So not exactly sure if this is a good move, and I'm certainly sure that some people will be very interested with those since it has this Microsoft, you know, quality touch. Of course, I think two of the big things that Microsoft did was, I think one of the biggest things they brought to the table was the backward compatibility. If you guys are like me, you already have some, you know, Xbox 360 games, even maybe some Xbox One games that are taking a bit of a dust on your shelf. And this actually allows you to bring those back games into the newer console. And I think for the biggest consumer, because let's be honest, not a lot of people has Xbox One and a lot of people have an Xbox 360. You actually you broaden your audience, saying, you know, we didn't forget about you, so you can bring your back to the new console. Certainly now the list is scarce. I see like something like 18 titles right now, but I think it's going to be much bigger. I've seen this on some article, I don't remember where, but it openly, you know, opens a door that is very interesting indeed. On the other hand, they had a lot of, you know, games that we all know about, you know, Call of Duty, Batman, Destiny, and this is where it's getting a bit boring. It's like, oh, you know, on Call of Duty, we're going to have some premium DLC, okay, and the other, like, Sony will say, like, oh, we have the first one to have access to the betas. It's like, you don't even have nothing really to offer. You're just trying to get some acquisition from one game to another. Of course, those are big games, but I don't think it will make any difference on who wants which console. Anyway, Microsoft also presented the HoloLens, which I think was a fantastic presentation. There were no release date, or no prices, so they're still talking about, a prototype, and it's still like a gimmick right now. And they showed the Minecraft demo, which I think is very interesting. Can I absolutely be sure that it was real? I'm not exactly sure, because we all saw that from the camera perspective. And it could be like the guy was moving and talking, but there's this kind of feeling that it's all staged. Of course, I hope it's not. I may be wrong, but I hope it really works, because VR is a big thing right now. The Oculus Rift has a big market right now. Everyone has their looks on it, and if it can work, I mean, man, this is awesome. I was talking with my girlfriend, and we were talking about like games like Total Wars, where you could like zoom in and look really as a battlefield. Like freely. It gives a lot more immersion than any other kind of peripheral you can have at your home. So I think Microsoft overall delivered well on both the aspect of features. They got a lot of games, big guns. Of course, they didn't really get out of their main market. They didn't announce that much new titles that blew our minds, but they certainly have those pillars that are really strong. And I think an Xbox One right now is actually pretty much worth more than it was before. It actually goes in my mind that maybe I will buy one. On the Sony's hand, we had a lot of new titles. Horizon Zero Dawn, we had Dreams, Last Guardian, of course. They showed at the end Uncharted 4, which I think they should have changed their strategy. They did the same thing last year, and I think they should have put bigger games at the end. Maybe Final Fantasy, Of course, Final Fantasy 7 is a remake, and it's not going to be exclusive. But overall, I'm very happy it's coming out. I'm certainly gonna put my finger on it. They had the Shenmue Kickstarter, which is a bit weird, but they actually achieved their goal. I think right now, as I'm making this video, it actually was the fastest grossing Kickstarter game. They had an immense people, involving into this and putting their money. We trust Shenmue 3 being a very good title, so I'm really hopeful it will come out very well. So Sony had a lot of emphasis on their games, though there is a problem. They didn't talk about the PS3 at all, and I mean, like, this is a big problem, because PS3 is probably in its last year right now, 2015, and the problem is there's a lot of people selling those consoles at home, and you should talk about them. You should say, we're going to bring a new feature, we're going to have some rebates, or something like that, price drop or something, new models, anything that can, bring consumers to say, like, yes, the PS3 is a brand, it's an old console, but it still has so much potential, so much games into it that, right now, if you don't have a PS3 or an Xbox 360, it's the good time. Games are fairly very cheap. You have a lot of library, immense kind of gameplay. You can have all kind of genre you want. So if you're listening and you don't have either console, get one. It's absolutely worth it. Sony also talked a little bit about this little buddy here, the PS Vita. And I think this is a problem, because the PS Vita lacks a lot of games, and I've told that before. If actually a developer came out and said, we're making a PS Vita exclusive game, and it comes out even decently, a lot of people will buy it, because the library is kind of short, and sure, it has a lot of indie games, but on big titles, I think like they have maybe 10 titles that are really worth it. The rest is just more like fan-based, so kind of disappointed here. They didn't talk that much. I think there was one game they talked about the PS Vita. I think it was World of Final Fantasy. So, big minus here. They also talked about the Morpheus, but only briefly. Again, we don't have the model. They showed us one game. I think it was something like Blast, or like a competitive MechWarrior game. And that's a shame, because right now we talked for the Morpheus for the past 3 years. We don't have any kind of clue how much it's gonna cost. We don't have any clue how much it's gonna, emphasis on the games, how it's gonna interface with us. So right now, just a gimmick, just a prototype that we speak about, but we don't have any idea what the final product will be. And this is really disappointing. I hope Sony will bring out much more things like than that. They also talk about the PlayStation View, which is like acting as Netflix, as I understand well. and not exactly sure if that's actually necessary, because Netflix right now is basically just, you know, having the share of the market. But still, if we have some rebates with the PlayStation Plus, why not? Maybe we'll take a look at that. But other than that, nothing new on the new platform, no more new features. So lots of games, but still I'm kind of disappointed a bit. Right, they also showed us the tech demo of No Man's Sky, which actually looked amazing. I hope it really delivers, because they're selling it like way too big for its own purpose and its own good. But right now we saw the tech demo, we saw it's running live, looks beautiful, looks very, very nice to play. I can't wait to have my hands on it. So yeah, my Sony with their PlayStation 4 really had all the games, but so much less features. I think basically they had a good run, but nothing amazing. I think last year was way better. They also showed some, like I said, betas and, you know, DLC access for Destiny, Call of Duty, Batman, which I personally don't give a shit. Those games are going to be nice and fine, I know, but I mean, for me, they should have their own little events with other developers really, rather than the console itself. And they missed some big boats. I mean, I don't know why Sony's not bringing back some old people. When we talk about old games such as Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Medieval, I mean, their library is just so immense, yet they don't talk about those. Missing somewhere. Sony has a fucking library enormous, and they don't pick a lot of games that we know and people want. I mean, Crash Bandicoot, really? People are screaming out loud their lungs to have a new game for this, for the new generation of gamers. Still, seems we're gonna wait. Nintendo had, like I said, a digital event, so nobody was there on stage. They had the Treehouse event, which I found was really, really boring. But they had a digital event, so it was basically just a video. They announced Star Fox Zero, new Skylander, Zelda Triforce, Hyrule Warrior on the DS, Metroid Blast Ball, Fire Emblem Fates, which I think is good, really, really good looking. I don't know if it was actually announced earlier, but it's my first look at it, and I was like, looks very, very decent. Xenoblade Chronicles X, of course. New amiibos and Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, Mario Tennis, Super Mario Maker, which has a big emphasis on. Basically, that a lot of games and a lot of DS support, of course, because their player base is enormous. And I think they basically showed us what they are working on right now, and they are, you know, they have a lot of exclusive games, a lot of exclusive features. But they did not really, you know, they didn't show Zelda on the Wii U, which I think is a big mistake. They should actually show a new trailer, and people will get hyped. Maybe a date, because, you know, everyone with a Wii U is waiting for those big titles. Of course, Star Fox Zero, can't go wrong there. People will absolutely love this game, I'm sure. It looks a lot like the N64 games, with some changed element and better graphics, of course. But otherwise, they weren't really streamlined. They didn't change their course. And Treehouse, I mean, I think it was a 4 or 8 hours even. It was so long and mostly boring. I mean, like, okay, they show a bit of the games, they show a bit of Super Maker, but overall lacking a lot of new content there. I think they could have done better. In the end, I think we had a good E3. Fallout, you know, we had the good demos on those. Looks amazing. Tom Clancy series, we have Siege, Division. Looks absolutely amazing. I want to try those games as soon as possible. There is a lot of opportunity here to get our hands on new games, and my pocket is going to get rather dry this year because we have a lot to play, and I'm pretty sure they are actually listening to the fan base, and they changed a lot of things to make us, you know, more money for the buck, really. So more content, and I kind of like that. Though I'm still disappointed with the lack of feature. I have to give my point this year to Microsoft. I think they showed us their big games, and they said like the Elite controller, I think, wasn't really a purpose. It's like they just announced it. I don't think it will make you a better gamer, but you know. But the backward compatibility and the HoloLens demo really took it for me. It's not the guy on the kind of game like Forza 6 gonna sell me, because Forza is getting like, I think it's their 8th or 9th iteration right now, so they're sending a bit too much for me. For Sony, I get a bit out of there, but Tomb Raider Rise was awesome. Gears of War demo was cool. Halo 5 was great. Rare Pack is an absolutely amazing thing that they could have done. This acquisition is a good deal. But overall, you know, I think they run great. They gave us some new features that are really interested. I think Microsoft deserve it. If they worked hard enough, and if the backward compatibility is worth it, you know, it's their way to go. Of course, Sony and Nintendo should have showed itself. I mean, E3 is the biggest show of the year. Of course, there's Tokyo Game Show, there's Gamescom, but E3 is where you have a lot more spotlight. So, a bit of disappointed here. But you know, we had a good A3, I think. Actually, you guys tell me what you like of this E3, and who do you think is the biggest winner, of course. And if you like this video, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And as usual, take care. Bye bye.